Hey everybody, welcome to this week's video. My name is Stephanie. Welcome if this is your first week tuning in. I am so happy you're here. So each week I give you an energetic forecast for the coming week, and this week we are looking at October 9th through the 15th, 2022. And we do have a full moon in Aries on Sunday the 9th. So to start our week off, we are in the intense energy, I feel like, of a full moon. So each week I do 3 keywords from the Akashic Records that I channel during my work in the records that week, just to give us a jump start on the following week, as well as some crystal energy and some oracle card guidance. This week, in addition to our 3 Akashic keywords, we are going to use the Healing Crystals Zodiac Deck number 1. So in addition to the 6 regular decks, crystal oracle decks, there are a few Zodiac decks. I rarely use those, but since it is a full moon in Aries on the first day of the week, the opening day of the week, I thought it would be appropriate to go ahead and pull one of the Aries crystal cards and see what that says. So I did pull it, but I haven't peeked. Likewise, for our Sunday energy, because that is the day of the full moon, we're going to use the Moonology Manifestation deck, and I did go ahead and pull the full moon in Aries card for that, but I haven't read it yet. So we will see what guidance those have for us, and then for the remainder of the week, we will get our oracle card guidance from Colette Baron-Reid's Oracle of the Seven Energies. Beautiful deck, and I feel like we are going to be sort of enrobed in energy this week. I won't phrase it that way. It doesn't feel overwhelming, but it does feel like cocooned, surrounded by energy. A lot of energy this week is what I'm feeling. So let's talk first about the 3 keywords that I got from the Akashic Records. The first one that came out was fluidity. The second one was emergence. And the third one was settling. And I feel like settling might have come up within the past couple months. I'm not positive. I would have to go back through the description boxes and all of the YouTube readings to find out. But I feel like settling has come out within the past couple months. Maybe this is a repeat of that. And whenever that happens, it means pay special attention to it. It is something very important during this time period. So fluidity, just about, we got one last week that I think was about adaptation, maybe, that was about it's much easier to be in a state of flow when we are adaptable. So fluidity, that same energy continuing this week. Fluidity about being in a state of flow, being adaptable, being able to stay fluid, flexible, and go where sort of our intuition is leading us. And then emergence, which I found really interesting. It wasn't emerge or emerging, it was emergence. And emergence is the process of coming into view or coming into being, which I thought was really fascinating. So we have been in a state of change, a state of unfurling, as I keep saying, with the unfurling being the Akashic word for all of 2022 that I channeled back in January. We have had that pop up last week and again this week, essentially with this emergence keyword. So the process of coming into being, of unfurling. So I like that for this week. And then the last one, settling. And the message I got when I asked about settling was settling into, not settling for. So this isn't about lowering your expectations, or, I mean, it's great if we can have no expectations, right? Then we allow things to unfurl, allow things to emerge, and allow things to be fluid and unfold for us. But so it's not about sort of settling for things or, lowering our wishes or desires, I guess I'll say. It's about settling into what is and being in a state of gratitude for what is, because that is the easiest state to create from. When we are in a state of gratitude for what we have here in our physical reality right now, then that is the best jumping off point we can have for creating more of what we do want. So, I sometimes, it's kind of a running joke or an inside joke with me when I say you can't get there from here. That's kind of the jumping off point that I'm talking about. You can't get to joy from a state of, being displeased. But if we can settling into where we are at and find joy in our present moment, in our present circumstances, then we have a much better chance of emerging into the reality we do want that is going to bring us joy. So This week, fluidity, emergence, and settling into what is. So then let's see what the Aries crystal card has for us. And it is, I really love this actually. This particular Aries card is the manifestation card, and it is moss agate. So moss agate is what's called sometimes referred to as a birthing stone. So it's about emergence. It's about rebirth. It's about starting new. How I've been going on and on the past few weeks about we are no longer looking to the past for our lessons. Yes, thank you. We have assimilated all of those lessons and we are now at a new jumping off point. So this has that same energy. Moss agate very much has that fresh, new, rebirthing energy. And it says moss agate attracts endless opportunities and time to consider your options. It also has a power day listed of Monday, which is interesting because that's right on the heels of the very powerful full moon in Aries. So moss agate attracts endless opportunities and time to consider your options. So I love that energy for our crystal guidance this week. And then let's talk a little bit about our full moon in Aries card. And I will read a little bit from the guidebook for this one, since I did go ahead and pull this card ahead of time. And so the full moon in Aries says, cool your emotions. And, you know, the Aries symbol is the ram, which is kind of like, you might be feeling like you are running into a brick wall, metaphorically, or ramming into something, butting up against the same kind of scenarios that you have in the past. But we're in a new space, right? That's what's been unfolding over the past weeks and months, is we're not drawing on those past experiences to create how we react to things anymore. We're not reactionary. We are looking at things kind of with the beginner's eye instead of a beginner's mind, a beginner's eye. Like, we are seeing things for the first time and reacting in a different way. We're not being reactionary, we're being observant and then reacting from that space. So kind of, I feel like this may be a literal message for some people this week about that ram energy, that butting up against, or, you know, kind of banging your head into a wall. But just remember, the full moon energy is generally really intense. Everybody in the collective feels it, but not everybody's aware of it, which makes it even more intense and confusing for a lot of people. So just remember, you've already got kind of a head start or a leg up if you're even aware that the energy might be affecting you, because then you can kind of go into observer mode a little more easily and say, oh, okay, I've got this. I understand it. So let me read from the guidebook for this. It says, cool your emotions for the full moon in Aries. Are you in the midst of an argument, or perhaps in the mood to pick an argument? Or are you being overly forward? This is a time of heated emotions and frayed tempers. Anger is better than despair because anger spurs us on to do something, but you may get better results if you master your emotions. So that's being in that observer mode. Certainly avoid stirring the pot or it could boil over. Cooling your emotions and being the peacemaker means you'll attract a more peaceful outcome. So I like this. I like that message, especially with this rebirthing energy that the crystal card brings us this week. Cooling your emotions and being the peacemaker means you'll attract a more peaceful outcome. So that's kind of that settling into energy, right? But then also still being fluid. And it says there's a manifestation affirmation you can use to work with the energy of this full moon, and it is, out of this only good will come. So that's totally connected to the emergence keyword, right? Out of this only good will come. We emerge into something new. So it's the process of coming into being, a new way of coming into being, or a new way of being coming into view, I guess I should say. So then let us move on to Monday. And again, using the Oracle of the Seven Energies. And Monday we have Into Me, I See. These cards are amazing, by the way. So Into Me, I See is about connection. It's about releasing or rethinking or reworking or reconsidering boundaries. Maybe they were too tight, maybe they were too loose, reconsidering where your boundaries are, and kind of the willingness to show yourself honestly and truthfully. So I feel like this week very much about connection. And sometimes I mentioned that I feel like the weeks are going to be very chronological. This one, the message I'm getting is take this one as like a lump sum. This is kind of like, you can take the days of the week chronologically if that feels right to you, but you can also take this at the end and just kind of lump it all together and say, this is going to be the energy of this week. So into me, I see very much about looking inward, but then using that toward fostering connections with others too. And then Tuesday, we have a grand symphony. So this again is also about individuality, like the part we play in the symphony, but the fact that it comes together when we are interconnected and connected with others. So it's about the part we play in the symphony and recognizing that it is individual, it is unique, it is a special part, a necessary part, but also what part do we play in that? And knowing that this is the week of a full moon when emotions may be heightened, what part are we playing? And sometimes it's more beneficial to play the part of the peacekeeper. And that doesn't mean stifling anything or not speaking your truth. That's not what I'm talking about, but it's about maybe settling in, as that third keyword says, to peace this week when we are dealing with communication and connectedness with others, because we have 2 connection cards already in a row and we're only on Tuesday. So then Wednesday we have the land between, and this is like the land between worlds. This is very much like the emergence energy that came from the Akashic records. The land between is the process of change. So it's, the process of coming into view or coming into being. This is the process of change. So this is very connected to that emergence card where we're kind of standing in the middle, but we haven't emerged out yet. And one other thing that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the 3 keywords is I kept getting a visual when I was channeling the keywords about, it's like similar to the energy of being underwater and having to hold our breath until we either get through a tunnel or get to the other side of the pool, and then you kind of emerge and take this big breath. That's the energy kind of that we're in this week, is the underwater, but headed toward our destination, heading toward that emergence energy. And I feel like that's where we end up by the end of the week. So then Thursday we have Birds of a Feather, which is another community card. This is like the me before we, I think is what the book says for this one. It's very much very connected to the Grand Symphony card about we play a part in this. Birds of a feather. There is a community. There is a larger whole. There is a collective, and I am part of that, is what Thursday is saying. So far this week, all of these being communication, connection, community kind of cards so far. So then Friday we have It Is What It Is. So It Is What It Is is about radical acceptance. One of my favorite sayings is sometimes it do be that way, because sometimes it just do. You may not like the direction everything is going this week. It might just feel too intense for you this week. It might just be that kind of fiery Aries full moon, too much kind of energy this week. But it is what it is. And this is very connected to the settling into energy. So it's about that, if I settle into it, if I accept it, if I don't fight against it, if I settle into it, then my journey will be much more pleasant this week. And again, not about stifling, not about not speaking your truth, but about ease and peace, and this being a time for holding your breath, making it through the water, and then emerging at the end of the week. And then Saturday, back around to the end of the week, we have In Perfect Harmony. So I do feel like this is kind of a hold your breath and make it to the end of the week energy. Saturday, In Perfect Harmony is still a collaboration card. It's about harmonious and healthy interdependency, co-creation, but not codependency. So it's about, maintaining our independence as we find we are individuals in the collective, but also working in harmony with others. So that's that settling into energy. That's that fluidity. That's that we stay flexible. We look at things through our new lens and we emerge at the end of the week in perfect harmony. So that is our energy for this, what I feel is going to be a kind of intense full moon. If any of my astrologer friends watch this and would like to chime in to let us know in the comments, or if you have a link to your own channel and you have done a reading on this full moon energy, always feel free to leave that in the comments. I love to watch those to see how it lines up with the intuitive and Akashic Records guidance. So that's our guidance for this week, and I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you want to connect with me on a deeper level, you can always find my information in the description box. If you enjoyed this reading, if you tune in each week, or if it is just your first time tuning in, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. And I hope you will consider subscribing, liking, sharing. That all helps spread this information wider to those who appreciate it and connect with it. So I wish you all a great full moon week, and I will see you next time.